Hi, I'm Maya from Bad Dreams and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about what I plan to read for the Orilium Magical Readathon. So what is Orilium? So for you who don't know, Orilium is a month-long readathon created and hosted by G from the Book Roast. In this readathon, you create a character like in D&D and you pick a career for your character. And during the year, there are 2 month-long readathons that represent terms in this magical school called Orilium. So once you pick a career for your character, you have to go through classes and subjects for your career, and that's what you do during the readathon. My character is a dwarven lass called Malmos, and at the beginning she had 1 career, but since I'm ambitious, now she has 2. So I'm working on achieving ranks in 2 different careers. Yay me! All the information about the readathon will be down below in the description box so you can check everything out. So to get to my TBR, I'll just go through my 2 respective careers and all the subjects that I have to pass to, achieve rank, I guess, in my career. Before I start on my TBR, there are a couple of things that you need to know. So first things first, when I do readathons, first thing I try to do is find books on my unread bookshelf. So, I got stuff to show you, and so I can, read books on my unread bookshelf. So that's one. The other thing is that this readathon has 2 month-long readathons. In the first one, that usually happens in April, you just basically do the subjects, which means 1 subject, 1 prompt. In August, or this autumn equinox, each subject is sort of divided into 3 levels of, I don't want to say difficulty, but it's like difficulty. So grades, you get 3 different grades for 1 subject. You can get an O, which means ordinary, Q, which means qualified, and D, which means distinguished. So for example, if your prompt, if for your career you have to read, you have to get a D in inscription, that means you have to read the book to get the lowest grade, which is O. You have to read the book to get the qualified middle grade, and then you have to read the top grade, the distinguished one. So yeah, my TBR for this readathon is 12 books. Okay, so let's just start with Craftsmage. For Craftsmage, I have to get a Q in inscription. So for the O level, I have to read a book from your end of the year TBR. And for that, I picked Brandon Sanderson's Skin Deep, which is book 2 in the Legion series. In this series, we follow a character named Stephen who has hallucinations. So he has a mental condition which allows him to generate a multitude of different personas, and each persona has a different kind of skill. And he uses his Legion to solve crimes. I read the first book many years ago, and I picked this one because this book is also on my Buzzword reading challenge. I picked this one for August, where the prompt is body part, right? Yes, and skin is part of the body. So yeah, that's what I'm reading for that. Then to get Q qualified in inscription, I have to read something that has shield on the cover or title. And for that, I picked Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. See? Giant shield. Right, so basically this is a world in which vampires rule. And it's been 7 years since the sunrise, and, vampires have taken over. But there is a small group of, knights who go around killing vampires. And I believe, what was it? So the last remaining knight is being captured and tortured, and he's telling his story throughout this ginormous book. I do believe the sequel is coming out later this year. But yeah, Empire of the Vampire is what I'm going to read for this prompt. And also for Craftsmage, I need to get a D in Artificery. I might have mispronounced that, I'm sorry. So basically to get the lowest grade, which is O, you have to read a book with a gemstone in the name. So obviously I'm going to read, or try to read, Jade City by Fonda Lee. This has been on my TBR so many times. It's fucking ridiculous. So it's fantasy, Yakuza Mafia, with Jade being a metal that gives you powers. So if I remember from all the million times I've talked about this story on this channel, I do believe the Mafia people can use Jade to have powers, and then a drug imitating this has sort of been spreading around their city or whatnot, and they're trying to stop it. There are 3 books in this series. I have been trying to read this first one for a really long time. This is also on my Reddit Fantasy Bingo Challenge. To get a Q in this subject, I have to read an adventure book, and for that I picked The Last Astronaut by David Wellington. So if I remember correctly, we follow a woman and former Commander Sally Jansen. So she was leading NASA astronaut until she was on a mission that ended in disaster, and then an alien artifact or something appears above Earth, and she's sort of tasked to somehow deal with it. I'm assuming going into space and dealing with possible aliens is an adventure, so that's why I picked this one. And to get a distinguished in artificery, I have to read a book that has a pet on the cover. I was like all set on picking various things, but then G said that you have to have an ordinary pet. Took me a while. I mean, seriously, it took me a while. And I found this on my shelf. This is The Bazaar of Bad Dreams by Stephen King. This is a collection of his horror short stories, which I always enjoy from him. So the pet on this would be the birds. See the birds? See, birds can be pets, and they're normal pets, right? No dragons and whatever not. So yeah, this is what I'm picking for this prompt. Now I'm going to talk to you through my scribe career prompts. So to achieve level up in the scribe career, I have to get first an O in elemental studies, and that is book with the word earth in the title. I really tried to find something else, but there's nothing on my TBR anywhere with the word earth in the title. So this is the book I have to read. Sarah J. Maas's House of Earth and Blood. I'm not saying like I'm not going to enjoy, because I'm a huge fan of Sarah J. Maas. I've read the Throne of Glass series. I've read the Court of something 2 times. I mean, I love her, but this thing has so many pages, and I'm sorry if you can hear stuff from the outside. My window is open because, you know, we're suffering through a heat wave. So this thing has 800 pages. You know, I mean, I'm gonna help myself with an audiobook, but still, this hasn't been like on my soon-to-be-read TBR, but since this is the only book that has Earth in the title, then this is what I'm going to read for this prompt. I have to get a distinguished in inscription, which means I have to get ordinary. Book from the end of your TBR, and for that I picked Small Miracles by Olivia Atwater. This is a book that actually won this year's SBFBO contest, right? So basically in this book we follow Gadriel, who is a fallen angel, petty temptations, and he has a gambling debt. All right, so to get rid of their gambling debt, they get a task to convince someone. They have to tempt a miserably sinless mortal to, I guess, do a few nice things for herself. So we'll see how this goes. I'm very excited about this. I do have an audiobook somewhere for this, and I'm looking forward to it. This book is also on my Fantasy Bingo TBR. Then to get a Q in this subject, I get to shield. So a book with a shield on the cover or title. Also took me a while to find this. So for this, I really hope you can't hear the bottles. Hold on. For this prompt, I picked The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. Now, if you're wondering, where is the shield in this one? So if you zoom in closer, see this tiny dude trying to fight this ginormous dragon? They have a sword and a shield. And that's how this book fits this prompt. What do I know about this? It's Norse inspired. I have no idea. It says here, set in a brand new Norse inspired world and packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance, The Shadow of the Gods begins an epic new fantasy saga from best-selling author John Gwynne. And then you have like praise for the book. So I'm guessing there's a dragon, and there's a person fighting the dragon, and we'll see when I read it. And then to get the distinguished in inscription, I have to read a book which is not a debut, and for that I picked Grimspace by Anna Guire. This is a book that's on my 2000 to 2023 reading challenge, in which I have to read a book for each year between 2000 and 2023. This is for like 2008, I believe. So in this world, we follow someone named Siradha Jax. I'll probably figure out how to say it when I listen to it on audio. So basically, she has the ability to jump ships through something called Grimspace. And the ship she's been on has crash landed, killing everyone but her. Then she's, I guess, rescued by like a group of people who are going to try and use her to overthrow the, I guess, ruling government or whatnot. We'll see when I read it. Next, for my career, I have to get an O in restoration. So to get an O, I have to start a book before bed, which sounds easy. For that, I picked After the Dragons by Cynthia Zhang. So in this, this is a novella. We follow a world in which dragons are pretty normal. The West world dragons sort of are known for terror and fire, while in the East they bring rain that helps people, right? Now, some time has passed and they are no longer considered like gods and whatnot. They are basically all around. I started this novella, I think I got like one chapter in. And the chapter started with one boy sort of hunting the streets for like dragons. He's like saving them, has a whole sanctuary of dragons and whatnot. And the other character we follow is a scientist of sorts, immunologist, and he basically, what I've gathered from the summary, is going to hook up with this kid from the beginning, and together they are going to try and work on finding a cure for some mysterious disease that has appeared. This is also on my Fantasy Bingo TBR. Alright, next I gotta get a Q in lore. To get a Q, I gotta first get an ordinary. So ordinary, I have to read something that has been recommended by a bookseller. Now, some people went online and checked stuff, and I basically piggybacked on their research, and I found that Blackwell's, I do believe this is not a library, a bookshop in England, UK, has Check Please on their recommended list. This is a comic by Ngozi Ukazu. I might have mispronounced that, I'm sorry. Basically, we follow Eric Biddle, who used to be a figure skater, and now he goes to play hockey in something somewhere, college something, I don't know. And then he tries to make friends and stuff. I have no idea. So yeah, I'm gonna try and read at least the first volume of this comic. And to get qualified in lore, I have to read a book that has clothing on the cover. And for that, I picked Slavic Supernatural. See, first I want to show you the awesome cover, and then you can check out, this is an image of, oh my god, Morana. Dude, it's not Morana, it's Morana. Fuck. Maya can't pronounce shit. She is the Slavic goddess of death and winter, I believe. Now look at her awesome outfit and her headband. So this is a fantastic cover created by a Croatian artist called Antonio Filipovic. I believe his Instagram down below, so you can check out, because he does a lot of covers for Striga books. Striga is a small press here in Croatia, which does lots of speculative fiction releases and whatnot. So this is an anthology of Slavic-inspired speculative fiction. So this book contains short speculative fiction stories that have been inspired by Slavic mythology and folklore, and I'm looking forward to reading it. All the stories here are in English. If this is something that interests you, I will leave the link where you can get the book. So that is it for my TBR. 12 books. It's a big stack. So I guess wish me luck. If you're participating in this readathon and you want to share your TBRs, please do so down below in the comments. If you have read anything that I have, please share your thoughts. There are some links in the description box. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You can press the bell button to get notification whenever we post new videos. You can like this video if you like it. And that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!